What's up, you crazy fighting entrepreneurs? Guess who it is? Your favorite person in the whole wide world. It's Anik Singal here. And this video is brought to you by the Fighting Entrepreneur Podcast. We have an amazing interview today with one of my closest friends and marketing extraordinaire, entrepreneur, creative genius, I'll call him, Mr. Dave Kettner. Dave, thanks for being on site here at the Learn Center.
My pleasure. And thank you for those kind words. I really appreciate that.
Well, I'm not done yet. I got more kind words for you. So listen, here's the interesting thing. It's few times you get to meet people that kind of invent new ways of doing stuff. I always teach this. I know my superpower. My superpower is to take other people's systems, scale it up, do more of it. And then there's a few people that come along that like to not do that and create as they go. And we've talked before, you've really pioneered a lot of ways and strategies to build businesses on Amazon, private labeling, having inventory that goes to Amazon. We're not going to talk about that today. Today, we're going to talk about something that I find much simpler and easier for those who are just getting started. We're going to talk about the 4-step system to building a scalable business with mugs. Something that nice and simple, just mugs. And here's a cool thing. They don't actually exist before you sell them. So they're printed on demand. Okay, what does this mean? So stop the presses. This is what got me super excited. All right. And by the way, we have a lot more training coming out. So you can finish this interview and there's a URL on the screen or in the description below. And that URL, Dave has actually done full training. Video 1, video 2 with exercises, assignments for you to do. It's really cool. But what I love about this model is, okay, if I build a website, there is some risk, right? Let's be honest. There's risk. The time I put in, the energy, the money I put in towards building the website, maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it never gets traffic. If I build a digital product, there's time and energy and money put into building a digital product. If I buy a bunch of inventory, right? If I build a Shopify store, now I'm paying for membership fees and costs. In this business, you can just, there's very little risk, if any. And that is cool. So you can upload a bunch of things to these sites, like designs. Everything else is done for you. And you know what? If no sale happens, no cost happens. So this is like going to Vegas and saying, hey, bet, you can't lose, but you have a chance of winning. I mean, how many times would you do that bet, right? Like, we'll do it again and again. So I love this. This is why I want to talk to Dave. And Dave's been doing this. Dave has pioneered, not just mugs, by the way. We like to lean on mugs because I don't know how many freaking hundreds of millions of mugs are sold every year. But you could do this with pretty much everything, right? All right, so Dave is my good friend, but he's also made millions online. He's done it through many strategies, and he'll share one of them today, which is our favorite. So Dave, thanks again for being here. All right, I kind of talked about it. You've got videos coming up that everyone can watch with assignments, but can you give us a high level of how this works?
Yeah, sure. Well, do you want me to just go through the 4-step system that you're talking about?
Go through, yeah, take it away.
So really, it's 4 steps, right? And the first thing is that we have proof out there of things that are already selling. Right? So we want to go out there and be able to see what is selling well with other people. And it kind of makes it a scientific process for us because we can see things that are already selling, different designs, and we say, oh, wow, okay, I know this design right here is selling well. So there's people out there that are buying it. It's successful. It works. So now I know that concept. So let's say what it says on there, that works. So now I can come do step 2, which is I want to design something similar. Now, we're not going to copy exactly what's there. That would be a copyright violation. We want to do that. We want to do our own original stuff. All right, so we were going to design something similar to that first one that we found, that research of something that's working. Okay, so now this is where people kind of freak out. They're like, wait a second, I'm not a designer. I can't do this. It's like, whoa, hold on right there. Because I show in my training, in my videos you're talking about how easy this is. Because if you knew, well, you know me. I'm not a designer. You guys don't know me. I can't draw. All right, let alone do something online. You would think it would be very difficult trying to come up with this or copy it. Well, there's 3 different ways, and I don't know if you want me to get involved with that, but let me go over the high level first, and if you want me to go back, I can show you. But it's so simple to make these designs. So then we create that design, and like you said there in the intro, we're going to then put it up for sale, and we like to start on Etsy first. Etsy is a really up-and-coming site right now. They are almost doubling every year. And they're not on the level of Amazon yet. Amazon's still the 800-pound gorilla when it comes to e-commerce online, right? But because Amazon's so big, it's a lot harder now to sell in this day and age. All right. On Etsy now, it's back where Amazon kind of was when they first started growing. All right. So when I first started on Amazon 8+ years ago, it was a lot easier, right? Now that's where we are with Etsy. So I teach people, and we do this ourselves. We put these mugs on Etsy first because it's so much easier to get the sales rolling. And then, like you said, it doesn't matter right away if we're putting things up there and they don't sell, because there is a cost involved. Just so you know, it's 20 cents to put up a listing on Etsy.
Okay, fine. There's a 20-cent risk. If you can't take a 20-cent risk, you should not be an entrepreneur. Let me just tell you that right now.
I agree. But let's put it this way. We talk about this in the training, where if we were to take 100 designs and put them onto Etsy, so 100 times 20 cents, quick math, $20. Right, $20. And we say that you can fail 98% of the time and still be successful in this business. So what does that mean with 100 mugs? 98 fail, 2 succeed, right? So if 2 succeed, you're going to be over and above covering that $20 that costs you for those 100 mugs. So like you said, there's no risk involved because those successful ones are going to blow away your numbers, and you're not going to worry about the 98 that failed.
Okay, so this is where it gets cool, and you'll know why we've put this training together at Lurn. Okay, you could fail 98% of the time and still succeed. You don't have to build websites. You don't have to have products. You don't have to deliver things. Now, I want to get even more specific. Why mugs? So, for example, right here, this mug says, I gave myself the day off, okay? We ordered this mug just because we wanted to show this to you, but this mug did not exist and would not exist unless someone bought this. So you see this little design here. Dave shares in the training exactly how to get this done. By the way, using free tools, you could pay someone else to do it, like a few bucks, and they'll do this. This is the easiest part. Now, when somebody orders this mug off or that design, it's automatically sent to a company to print on demand and ship directly to the end buyer. So you don't stock these in your house, buy them up front. You don't have inventory costs. That's why we're saying you can fail 98% of the time, because if you design something, it takes you, 10, 15, 20 minutes. You upload it to Etsy, you pay 20 cents. No one bought it, then so be it. Take it down and move on and have the next one. Now, gosh, this is one of those things where over a weekend, I feel like someone could sit down, take the training you do, because Dave really breaks down which niches are the best, which topics and types of designs work. They could create 20, 30, 40 over the weekend, upload them. And then the rest of the week, it actually can be like passive, right? They're not doing active business stuff during the week.
I totally agree, because the effort is putting those designs up there. Yeah. And what I love about this business is you do the effort up front, and then you get paid for it over and over again. So you have one of those designs to say at the weekend. You said 30 designs. Mm-hmm. Let's say one out of the 30 kind of go viral. Yeah. You start getting the sales. It's not going to stop, right? It's going to keep going, because when you have actual inventory in stock at a warehouse, you only have that much stock to sell. Mm. This is digital, like you said. Mm. So there's no limit to the amount that you can sell. Mm. So if something on a holiday, let's say we have a Mother's Day mug. All right, if we have a Mother's Day mug and it just takes off, and with the algorithm, the way it works with Etsy, something starts selling, it starts getting momentum, they start putting it up there in the rankings, and then more and more people are buying it. So around a holiday like Mother's Day, things could sell quickly, right? Mm. And then, you just sit back. There's times where I'll wake up in the morning and I'll just kind of stumbling out of bed. I'm looking at my thing like, whoa, wow, look at all these sales that are coming in. During Christmas time, that was incredible just to watch that happening. But I'll tell you what, I don't know if right now, as we're filming this, our second busiest time of year is coming, which is the Mother's Day, Father's Day period for this type of business.
Okay, so I want to get some juices flowing for everybody. I know you're going to cover this, so just so everyone knows, and anyways, we'll get into it in a minute. Give me some ideas. First of all, let's actually cover this. Mugs are not the only things. Give me a list of like other things that someone could have a listing on Etsy and never have to actually print unless it's bought. What are other things? Before
I do that, do you want me to just tell you the rest of the step process, and then we can come circle back to that?
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'll write that down.
All right, just because that's one great thing about this business. There's so many amazing things to talk about that, we're like, wow, we want to talk about this. But, you already started hitting upon it, the step 3, which is you're putting you're not having to pay for the inventory. You're putting your listings up on a supplier's website. And then what we do is we push them to Etsy at first, and then we can push them to Amazon as well. All right, so step 3 is basically listing them for sale and then making the sales. Okay. All right, so I want to make sure we cover that. Mm-hmm. And then the fourth step in the process is really just to rinse and repeat. And it's like you said, it's how many that you want to do. If you do 30 in a weekend, great. If you want to do it 30 a day for 100 days, it's whatever your time is your limitation, basically. That's what you're risking more than anything here is your time.
Right, but if you're going to build a website for another kind of business, that could take you weeks, days. It's a lot more time at risk. What is the success ratio for students that are just starting? Like, is it 2 out of 100, 1 out of 50, 1 out of 30? What do you usually find?
So that's a great question. I think we say, the 98% with 2% fail, just to show people that, hey, look, anyone can do this. You could be, I don't want to say you can be an idiot, but really, you could stumble your way to success in this business, right? When it comes to our students, I see that 30 is a good number, because I see when people are getting up there to 30, 40, they start making their first sales, and usually it's not just one design that's selling, right? So I don't know what the actual number is. I know what my number is. So maybe it'd be a bit easier for me to share with you what that is. We're very close to 50% success rate.
Wow. Right, so 1 out of 2.
That's correct. Now, do realize, though, I've been doing this for some time.
Yeah,
so I kind of have an eye for what's selling. But I also have a team of people now that we've put in place that I've taught them how to do it. So the same way I'm teaching the students how to do this is the same way my team works as well. So I continually help people get to see that eye develop their own eye and make it happen.
And so the key seems to be, well, I love that, right? So if you're able to get to 50%, 1 out of 2, you're seeing students 1 out of 30. So like a student can be, I'm not good at math here, but can be infinitely worse than you at this and still succeed, which is always a great thing, a great place to start. Now, one thing I'm going to come back and talk about. So I'm going to write my questions down, because you're right. Let
me answer your last question, because as you're probably writing down what you're thinking right now. I want to answer what you said about we do more than mugs. Okay. So what is great about this business is we can find something that is selling really well. All right, one of our own designs. Now let's just say it's this one right here. I gave myself the day off. I love that one because I love giving myself a day off, to be honest with you. But anyway, let's say that one takes off, right? Well, like you said, now we have other products that we can put this on. Now, there's a supplier that we work with exclusively, and they have hundreds of products that you can do. So they have things like mugs, tumblers, wine glasses, T-shirt, all kinds of apparel, all right? Cutting boards, ornaments, and there's tons of different things that we can do. So we have something that's working, then we can put that same design very quickly, boom, onto a cutting board, boom, onto a water mug, onto a tumbler, onto a glass, whatever. And then we're putting them up 20 cents, 20 cents, 20 cents. We know the design works. Let's see, now they start working as other things. So it's so easy to take this and scale, especially when you have things that are working for you.
All right. Love it. So I was going to be one of my questions is, how do you scale this up, right? More designs, but now you can find the ones that work. So that's what I love too, is you don't have to create a tumbler, a this, a that for every design. No. One design, mug, whichever works, starts scaling other kinds of products, which are, again, just a listing. They're getting printed and made on demand and shipped. So when this order comes in, so, Joe Schmo goes to Etsy, is searching for something, finds this mug that is your listing, loves it, pushes the order button. Do you have to do something? Does that order come to you and then you have to do something, or does it go automatically to where it's supposed to go? Can you explain that process?
That's a great question. So through the supplier we work with, we have this thing called a automation. All right. So the automation basically connects our supplier, in this case, if we're talking about Etsy, to the Etsy store. All right. We also have it for Amazon too, but for now, it's just focus on Etsy because that's where we start. All right. So you connect your supplier to your Etsy store. And basically what happens is they communicate together. So we list our product for sale on our supplier. And then we push a button that says, push to Etsy. Boom, it goes to Etsy. We then only have to go to Etsy basically to make it active. It's there in the draft. We have to activate it basically. As soon as the sale goes through on Etsy, that gets communicated back to our supplier. The supplier gets notified. We could be sleeping, okay? We could be on vacation. The supplier gets notified, hey, we got this order. XYZ, 20 of these, whatever it may be, they produce it. Once it gets done, they ship it directly to the customer. Then the supplier communicates back to Etsy, hey, this has been shipped. Here's the tracking number. So cool. You see all this is going on behind the scenes, and you could be taking the day off.
That's pretty cool. Now you guys are start to see why I love this so much. Okay. Give us a clue. Like, I know you're going to cover some of this in your video training, but what are some of the top niches? Give us maybe a couple examples of stuff that's worked well. I know that last time we spoke about this, you said, think professions, nurses, doctors, find a saying that might be working for one profession and boom, grab it and make it for another profession. Give us a list of ideas to get those creative juices flowing.
Well, there's so many of them, but yes, because what I like to do, Anik, is I like to find a design that is working, and then you can add that around any profession, any job title, for example. You can even start, a whole nother way of scaling is add personalization to it. So you can put your name on there. You can put who it's from, who it's to, a date. So let's say there's a wedding date. You can put pictures uploaded. Like you can upload your own picture to a mug or an ornament and get it printed that way. So there's so many different ways. Now, sky's the limit with this one. I mean, you can really go, that's what makes this business so amazing is you can go so many different directions. And people are like, oh, well, it's going to get too saturated. No possible way, because there's so many different directions you can go. I will share this, that things really tend to sell well around holiday time. Okay, so like I said a little while ago, that our busiest shopping season is the Christmas shopping season. There's like 6 weeks there that things sell really well. The second time is Mother's Day, Father's Day. It just happens to be that people can easily get things printed and shipped directly to, as a gift or whatever, and they sell well around those times. But like you said, if you have, let's say you're focusing on a lawyer or a doctor, a nurse, or whatever, that will be something you can tie to, and it will sell throughout the year even. But we do find that things, they do sell a lot more during those 2 sales periods of time.
Got it. You've mentioned this a few times now. You've said, hey, when something is selling well, you can take it and borrow the learning from it. How do I know when something is selling well? So right now, between now and those who are watching your videos. Now, again, remember, the videos may be out, the training might be out, maybe it's not out yet. The URL is on the screen. It's in the description. Go check it out. And if it's out, watch it. I mean it. Seriously, you're going to love it. But between now and then, tell us, how can someone go explore? Someone's going to want to go to Etsy and find what's working. How do you know what's selling?
So two separate questions you asked me there, kind of. The first part is, or the way you just asked there, how is something, something selling? Well, first of all, if you you go through, and how would you go search for something? Let's say, my birthday just passed and you didn't send me a birthday present. So let's say, what, I totally forgot that I missed Dave's birthday. I want to send him a mug. I'll create him a mug. So let's say you want to put in, what would you type into the search box to try to find me a gift using a coffee mug?
Birthday mug.
Birthday coffee mug, for a friend, from colleague, whatever, something like that. So you're going to put that in there. Now, the things that come up in the searches, the ads are always going to be first. Anyone can put an ad up there. So forget about the ads. Look at what's ranking organically, right? Those are selling well. Now, unless you put like a really obscure keyword. But I'll give you like a very general one. If you put funny coffee mugs and you're ranking in the first 5, do you think that mug's selling? Yeah. It's selling well, right? Now, if you get, like I said, more obscure, so if you say something like a coffee mug gift for business friend, that's not as much traffic maybe. Yeah. Okay? But anything that's ranking well for main keywords, it's selling. Now, there's other ways that we go through and see that things are selling well. I get into that a lot more detail in the training, but real quick, if something has a lot of reviews, obviously it's sold well. If something is in somebody's cart, Etsy actually shows up to 20 people might have something in a cart at any given time. Oh, wow. That tells you there's intent, right? If people have something in their cart, why? Probably because they're buying it, right? So that's a great way to see something selling. So there's other ways, but those are just some simple ways.
What are so we've talked about Etsy. Can we do this on some other sites as well?
Great question. So one of the places I love to research is Amazon. Okay. All right, Amazon, even though we don't start on Amazon, like I said, it's an 800-pound gorilla when it comes to sales, e-commerce sales products. I'm sure many people that are watching this, we buy on Amazon all the time, right? With Amazon, they actually have a thing called a BSR, which is the best sellers ranking, all right? And they have it in all their top categories. So with that, we can go to a product listing. So same way I just said, go search for something, bring it up, right? And it doesn't matter if it's an obscure keyword or not. We see what this ranking is, all right? And actually in the video training, there's an example I go through and show you how to put in that ranking into this website, and it'll give you an estimate of how many sales they're making per month. All right, so Amazon, you can actually get a lot more specific data. Now, it won't be exact, but it'll be close.
You give that away in the.
I do actually.
In the video, one of the videos.
In video training 2, I believe we do cover. No, I'm sorry, video training 1, I do cover that. Yes.
Oh wow, that's pretty giving of you. All right, awesome.
Yeah,
so you're actually giving away a tool that people can use to kind of get an estimate.
So
of
it's not
how
our
things are
tool,
doing.
but it's an online.
Someone else's,
it's
right,
a free tool that's out there that anyone can go through, do their own research on Amazon, and say, okay, let me try this myself. Let me go through and put this keyword like Dave and Anik are talking about. Put it in Amazon. See where this. I show you how to find this ranking. Get that ranking number. Put it into this tool, free tool, and it'll give you an estimate of how many sales that particular design of mug is making, or anything on Amazon for that matter. But mainly we're focused on mugs right now.
That is super cool. Man, it's so I want to summarize because so much is going on here. One of the things I love about this, no website making, no traffic generation per se, because you're leaning on the traffic that these sites already have, and they have so much traffic. You are not creating a product. You're not buying inventory. You're not coming out with a bunch of money out of your pocket. Your biggest thing is research, which you show specifically how to do apparently in video 1. I mean, you're even giving away some tools. And then, taking a little bit of time to either do the design, get it done. You show sites where people would just do it for you for very little money, and then simply upload those, and you're not going to be 100% successful. You already know that most of your designs initially are not going to work. You'll get better and better, but even if you hit 1 out of 30, 1 out of 40, 1 out of 50, you're officially an online entrepreneur. Things are starting to happen. I love it. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions specifically about the training, but I wanted to ask this and give me a couple. You don't have to give away what the mugs are or what the phrases are, but give me some examples. And before I ask for these, like case studies as far as how much you've done from. Remember one thing, he's been doing this for a long time. We are by no means promising or guaranteeing that this is what you're going to do, right? Results are never typical. You have to apply. Now, I will say, students and those who take these trainings, in the end, those who take action are the ones who end up succeeding. So remember that. But with that said, now give me some ideas. Like, what is possible? What's worked for you?
So let me share something. So we just recently went through this whole pandemic thing, right? And there were things that we were doing specific designs around that pandemic. One of the things that worked really good is to talk about the time while we were quarantined. A lot of marketers were doing this. And we're doing little cool designs where we would put like 2020, and on the zeros we had like the 0 had a mask on, or a sad face or whatever. But this was a design that we saw that was selling well, and then we made our own design around it, and we did tons of things while you're quarantined. Your birthday while you're quarantined, your graduation while you were quarantined, you got retired while you were in quarantine, all these different things. So it was something that people were buying as gifts like crazy. It was more like a memory, and it was kind of like a gag, because sometimes you don't want to remember it, but it sold like crazy. And then we had customers actually messaging us, and they do this in Amazon and Etsy, and they said, hey, we like that design. Can you make it for a teacher? Sure. We'll give us a day. We'll get someone. We put teacher there instead of mother. Or instead of father, we put in there board member. People said board member. Okay, sure, put it in there. One person in, I think it was August, they wrote back and said, hey, can you put boss? Sure, of course, we'll put boss in there. Well, I didn't even know this, Anik. And hopefully you know this, because you have a team of people that work for you. Mine are all virtual. You have team people in-house here. And hopefully they take care of you during Boss's Day. So do you know when Boss's Day is?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I know there is such a thing as Boss's Day.
All right. Boss's Day is, I believe, right in the beginning of October, or somewhere in October. Now, I wasn't even aware of that until we started having mugs selling like crazy. I'm like, holy crap, what's going on here? Why is this mug selling? And I checked, and Boss's Day is coming up in 2 weeks. We had this design, Anik, that we didn't even originally create. A customer messaged us, said, can you put boss on this? We did, and then it sold $4,000 or $5,000 for Boss's Day within 2 weeks or something like that, in addition to everything else it did. Maybe it was more than that. I did a whole case study on it. But
so you said sold like crazy, and I was going to ask you, is 4,000 to 5,000 units, when you say sold like crazy, what's sold like crazy in Dave's language?
If I say $4,000 or $5,000 of sales over a 2 week time, that's really good for one. For
4,000 to 5,000 units or dollars?
No, dollars.
Dollars. Okay.
For that.
So I'm glad I asked that.
But even though that was a little win, all right, I go through in the training and I show, we can see mugs on Amazon, right? We can take those sales figures and see exactly what they sold or what they're selling, right? There is several examples I use where they're doing thousands. We have this one Father's Day mug that we targeted, and we saw that they did over 14,000 mugs over a 2 or 4 week. It was during the Father's Day period, so it was like a probably 3 or 4 week time.
So how much does a mug sell for? Let's talk some numbers there. Like, yeah, what does it sell for? What does it cost you? What?
So let me break it down just really easy for you, because in the video we get very specific and show you, here's the cost involved, here's what you're getting paid. So here's what the customer's paying, here's what our costs are, here's the difference. We broke it down to an average of $8.59 profit per mug, okay, on an 11-ounce mug. So if you were to take that figure that I threw out there, 14,000 mugs that sold over this, say, month period of time, multiply that times $8.59, almost $100,000 a month profit. Okay, net profit.
That's insane. Let's do some math.
One mug, by the way, that was one mug.
I'm a math guy, okay? I want to do this. This is going to be fun. We said 1 out of 30 will be successsul, right? Right when someone's starting, because they're just getting started. What is successful? Is it a mug a week, 10 mugs a week? Like rough ballpark. What's a good number?
I think it's gonna be different for everybody.
Okay.
All right. Because everyone needs they see a certain number in their head that they want to get to success. Yeah. It could be a few $100s that might save my family from losing our house. All right. Sure. It might be a couple $1,000s to be a month extra to keep my wife home, not having to work. Yeah. It might be, I don't want to work a full-time job anymore, and that might be $10,000 a month net profit. I don't know what that may be. So it really depends on the person. But I would say, if I'm going to say successful, for me, all right, that means covering all my expenses.
No, I meant something
as far
different.
As like in life. I mean, like what my expenses are.
I meant something different.
Okay,
what I meant was, when you say 1 out of 30 mugs will be successful, what do we define units being sold of like is a successful mug like 10 a week? Like a rough ballpark, because I'm trying to almost do some math for people, which like I'm sitting here and I'm like, wow, 100 mugs a day doesn't sound like a lot. It's $800+ a day in profit.
Correct.
That's insane.
And that's one mug. Amazing. So if I consider a success, well, let me put it this way. We talked about starting on Etsy, right? There is a point where I say, all right, now it's time to move these to Amazon, all right? And I don't move them to Amazon usually until I have 40 or 50 sales of that particular design, okay? So, and that's different for everybody, but I like to see tens of sales before I start saying, okay, now let's branch this out. But the other people might be different. They might say, hey, I see a few sales on this. Let's start putting it on different products.
That's amazing. So $8.59 per mug, write that down. And then, of course, in the training, we'll go through the specifics of how he reaches that. So listen, this has been super awesome. I'm actually very excited to take this training myself, because no matter how successful of an entrepreneur I am, it's always fun to think of these passive opportunities, right? Robert Kiyosaki teaches us one thing. He taught me one thing back in high school. I mean, nothing better than passive income. And now that I worked really hard for money, I can actually really back up the fact that passive income is by far the best. That's what this is. Video 1, what do you cover? And again, everybody, the URL is on the screen. It's in the description below. The videos may be out, may not be out. Go check it out. Go to the URL, find out. If they're already out, watch them, binge them. You're going to love this training. And if they're not out yet, mark your calendars, get excited, get pumped, write it down, right on your forehead so you don't forget. Video 1, what's it about?
So video 1, we kind of go through the process of determining what the winners are. So the research side of things. So how to go through on Amazon and Etsy and find winners. That's where I go through with video 1 pretty much.
Sounds pretty.
But you know what? It gets even better actually, because I believe in video 1 is where I go through and I break out a demo of actually showing how to do it. Is that correct that we do in video 1? It's been a long week of videoing here.
Let's talk to the AV.
Yes. Okay.
You got thumbs up there.
All right. I just want to make sure.
All right. So demo, how to find topics, all in video 1. What's on video 2?
So video 2 then is taking, so we actually go through step 2 and step 3. Okay. All right. So we're actually we found a winner. Now it's to go take that design and create it. Now I show 3 different ways of doing it. Because like I said, I'm not a designer myself. But if you are a designer, that's one way you could do it yourself. And I always say, do it yourself first, so you can learn how to do it. All right, whether it be that you're creating it or you're creating it with free software or paid software. There's options there. All right. A second way is we can pay someone, outsource them to do it like on Fiverr or something like that. And a third way is basically that you have a team of people that are doing it for you. So that's more down the road. But there's several different options that we cover. And then again, I break out the demo and I actually do it. All right, I show you, I have this cool tool that I use on my iPhone. We actually were able to get video of that. And I show you within a few minutes to take that design, make it your own, and make it really cool looking. After that, step 3 is that I actually show you where I take it to the supplier, create it, push it to Etsy, and live for sale.
Dave, I thought we were marketing a program. You're just putting it all out there in the free training. So that's great. I love it.
The good thing is that we can cut this out and you can not have to worry about
chop it all out. Yeah. No. We always give Lurn Nation everything that we can.
You're going to want to see it though, because I actually am doing it.
That's
right
awesome.
Here we're just talking about it.
Yeah, so, demos are always the best. If you've listened to this and thought, man, this sounds interesting, I want to see it done. That's what this video training is for. And then, look, us here, fully transparent, always with you. And that is, Dave has a program published on Lurn. Dave has a program that we've published that shows you exactly how to do it in a very, 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 very step-by-step process. And that will be your decision to make. Not right now, later. Let's get through this training, learn this system first, and then if you feel like you want that hands-on help, it'll be there for you to engage in as well. All of this experience that you can have, all the training, all the fun, all the resources, all the study guides and everything. Yes, there's study guides to go along with it. Go to the URL on the screen, go to the URL in the description, and get over there right now. I know that, even Rich Dad and Robert Kiyosaki wanted to just say how excited they are about this that you put out. So, it's making droves now. It's getting around. So now is the time to get involved. Dave, thank you so much for being here. I'll leave a final word to you. Anything you want to say to the students about what you've done here and what you've put together?
Well, I just want to share one thing, and that's, when you think of the $8.59, it doesn't sound like much, all right? Yeah. But there's probably people that are watching this right now that haven't made $1 online. Yeah. And what's amazing about this program, and we've seen this with our students, as soon as they make that first sale, they are so super excited, and usually it happens very quickly, all right? And they're like, wow, I've tried all these different programs and I haven't succeeded. And all of a sudden, boom, I made a sale. And they get super excited because you know what? And I remember a good friend of ours back in the day I was learning Google AdSense, right? And I remember him saying, that first 29 cents that I made on my first Google ad, I was so excited about that 29 cents. You know why? Because he knew from that 29 cents that it was successful. He knew what it took to get that 29 cents. And it was only a matter of time of doing what? Doing it over and over
rinsing
again.
And repeating it. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's the same thing with this business too. So as soon as you make that first sale, you're like, okay, I know what it took to get that first sale. Now I'm going to do more of it and make it happen.
And it's not just proof to yourself. It's proof to everybody around you that may not quite yet believe in what you're trying to do. And let's face it, we all have some of those people. I've sold over $300 million worth of products online, and there are still some people out there right now that don't believe in me. So it's normal. But hey, if you get even one sale, you can show that to them. So that is really powerful, really amazing. Go to the URL, get engaged into the rest of the training. This is Anik Singal. Dave, thanks for being here. What do I always tell you guys? When life pushes you, stand straight, smile, and push it the heck back. On behalf of everybody here at Lurn, on behalf of the Fighting Entrepreneur Podcast, I want to make sure you are taking this training. Go to the URL on the screen. If you want, you can click it in the description. Get over there right now. I mean it. You will love this training. It's going to open your mind and eyes to a new world of opportunity where you don't have to worry about 98% of the things that hold people back. Seriously, you could fail 98% of the time and still succeed. And that's pretty cool. So we'll see you on that training. Dave, thanks again so much.
Thanks,
it's awesome.
My
All
pleasure.
right. See you guys later.